From Homedale to Salmon River, District 3 has several teams that don't always get their due. Stepping outside the shadows of the SIC, this is the Treasure Valley Prepcast with Logan Green.
That's right. It's the Treasure Valley Prepcast, IdahoSports.com, breaking out everything 3A, 2A, 1A in District 3 of the state of Idaho. Brandon Baney, as always, joined by Logan Green. Logan, are you all recovered from girls' state basketball?
I actually got out of girls' state basketball, as you know, Brandon. So me and Brandon, for those who don't know, me and Brandon were working the 1A D1 tournament together. Had a great day Thursday. It was, a lot of the games were over pretty early in that tournament, but still a fun day. Cranked out one full game on Friday, and then my wife texted me and said it's time to come home, and so I went home about halftime. I think halftime right of that second game. It was Notice and Wallace.
Yeah.
I headed out, and later that night we had our baby girl, so that was a fun day, a busy day. So I missed out on the championship, but it was a good reason to miss out, and it was fun. We have 3 boys, so now we have a girl, and everything's going great.
You're only one away from your own basketball team, Logan.
That's not going to happen. We'll be one short, and we'll still win. We'll be okay. Hopefully, they get my father-in-law's jeans. He's like he's like 6. I don't know. He's tall. We have this family picture we took with her family, and they're all there, and then it's like me. It looks like I'm standing in a hole, but I'm not. It's just everybody, and then there's me. So hopefully they get their jeans, and they're good basketball players.
No doubt. Well, that's a good transition into what was a good weekend of girls state basketball action. In terms of what we cover here on this Prepcast, I mean, we have to start with Cole Valley Christian. We talked about them all year long in the 2A ranks. I thought they were the best team coming into state, even though they were the number 3 seed on Max Prep's rankings.
Right.
I don't know. I thought that really gave Cole Valley an extra chip on their shoulder to really prove that they were the best team. And I mean, they defeated Melba in the semifinals. They defeated Aberdeen in the championship. We never got that Grangeville Cole Valley matchup we wanted to see, but they took on a good Aberdeen team, and they looked like the best team.
Yeah, and you know what? When we did that district championship, 2 weeks ago. Between Melba and Cole Valley, Melba really they controlled that game from early to the end. And I talked to people afterwards, and they're like, "Well, didn't look good," but I almost wonder if it was good to get it out of the system. Last year at state, they come in high hopes and fall flat. And this year, you wonder if getting that out of the system in districts did them any good, because, like you said, they definitely did look like the best team in the tournament. Really ran away with this thing, including that game they played it. They got the rematch against Melba right in the second round. Winning that game by 11. So really flipping the script right there and leaving no doubt. It wasn't like it was a really close game. It was pretty much Cole Valley all throughout. I mean, they led by 7 at halftime, and then they led by 14 after 3 quarters. They had that game in hand on their way to winning a state championship.
Yeah, no doubt. Lindsey Krogh of Cole Valley was the tournament MVP. We gave out our all tournament teams, all the broadcasters at IdahoSports.com. And for the 2A team, Lindsey Krogh was the MVP, 13.3 points per game, 8.3 rebounds per game, 2.3 assists per game. That's just a fine overall performance. Hadley Froz made the first team for Cole Valley as well on the all-tournament squad. And Melba also well represented. Brooklyn Daly was named defensive MVP of the tournament. She averaged 4.7 steals per game. She had like 10 in one game, I'm pretty sure, over at state, which is just nuts to think about.
Yeah, incredible.
And then Kaylee Wilson also made the second team for the all-tournament team for Melba as well. So, nothing for Melba to be ashamed of. They fell to Grangeville in that third place game, so Melba ends up taking 4th from state. But what a great year it was for both Cole Valley and Melba.
Oh, definitely. Nothing to hang your head on there. Like you get to that point where conference foes are playing in the semifinals, and you know your conference has had a good year. When 50% of the teams left at the end of the day come from your backyard, you know you've had a good year. And not to get ahead of ourselves, but we probably I think we're going to see the same thing in 2A when that time comes around, that we're going to see a lot of the same teams showing up. But I just want to give a special shout out Hadley Frost and Lindsey Crow in that state championship game. Cole Valley had 58 points. The two of them had 43 of those 58. Just a dominant performance on the biggest stage when you needed it to happen, right? To have 22 and 21, you need your best players to show up when it matters and not go flat. And they showed up and they played very well, leading the way. 10 rebounds for Crow, 8 rebounds for Frost. Just incredible. A double-double for Lindsey Crow in that state championship game. What else could you want from your best player, right? When you really need it to happen. And that's when you got to do it right there. So congratulations to them for winning that state championship.
First girls basketball championship in school history at Cole Valley Christian. And I don't know if you saw the clip on Twitter, but head coach Matt Beglinger with the
I
dance
did.
moves.
Saw him dancing in the locker room. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. You can check that out on Twitter if you want to see that there. All right, other girls teams from this area that did well at state. Council at the 1A D2 tournament got into state with an undefeated record. Logan, there were 3 teams that came into state for the entire state that had unblemished records, and not a single one left undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Blackfoot lost in the 4A semis. Butte County lost in the 1A D1 semis. And then Council at least got to their championship game, but they fell to a really good Rockland team. So Council will come home with the second place trophy. Yeah,
tough way to end the season for Council, but man, they had a really good tournament. They won that first game against Tri-Valley. So first round matchup is a familiar opponent. Some people like that, some people don't. At least you know what you're getting into in that first round, and maybe that makes you a little more comfortable. But you saw coming out of the gate after that first quarter, Tri-Valley actually led that game 10-9 right after 1. And so Council a little slow coming out of the gate. They ended up leading by 6 at halftime and really rolled it on in the fourth quarter, winning that quarter 24-10. So you look at, they won by 20. They win that quarter by 14. Really, when it mattered, they created that separation and pulled away late in that game. But then that state championship, they just ran into Rockland. Has been cover to cover one of the best teams in the state all year, regardless of classification. And they really did really well in that state championship. But again, nothing to hang your head on if you're Council. A great season, just ran into a really good Rockland team.
Yeah, Sydney Nichols and Hope Zolman of Council both made the first team all-tournament team. Isabel Epic made the second team. And for Tri-Valley, Stella Warren made the second team, all-tournament team as well. So 1A D2 was well represented. 3A girls state basketball tournament, we had 3 teams from the Snake River Valley Conference make it. Right away, you had Weiser and Parma play each other, right, in the opening round at state.
Yeah, it's crazy how Weiser, and we mentioned this, Weiser came in third in the conference, and they were the highest team to get a bid. Kind of crazy. But, I mean, and then Parma goes out and beats them in the first round. It kind of shows you that maybe that was not how it should have been. And I think it also showed what – I can't get the words out of my mouth. Weiser's win in that play-in game over Timberlake showed that we thought that Timberlake was, just, I guess we were going off history. At least I was, saying, oh, Timberlake is Timberlake, right? But District 3 was very good this year and took them down. So you got to say, hey, maybe District 3 is, are they the conference? Are they the district competing with District 6, who obviously had 2 representatives, but are those 2 now the class of 3A girls basketball? I think this year you kind of have to lean that way based on the results of the state tournament.
Yeah, and Kellogg went 2 and out as well as the lone representative from the north. So Parma got to the semis. Weiser and Fruitland both lost in their first round games, but then they ended up meeting up in the consolation final, and Fruitland won that game. Parma lost to Sugar in the semifinals, and then had to turn around and play Snake River in the third place game. They lost that as well. But so fourth place, so 4, 5, 6. Parma takes fourth, Fruitland takes fifth, Weiser takes sixth. And in terms of all tournament accolades, you saw Toby Neuer, the point guard for Weiser, made the first team all tournament team. And she was the only District 3 player to make the first team. And then on the second team, you had Riley Calkins, Austin Harris from Parma, Maddie Schertz from Weiser, Abby Rubidoux from Fruitland, and then on the honorable mention team, Gracie Huff from Fruitland. Did you see, I think it was the second day, I think it was the loser out game Friday, Rubidoux from Fruitland had like 32 points, Logan?
Yeah, something like that, just unconscious. I remember we have a text chain going between the Idaho Sports broadcasters, and they said this is not a typo when reporting in the Abby Rubidoux stats. Just a phenomenal game. I do believe that was in the second round. Just what an effort. And, it's funny. I don't know how many times we said her name this season, Brandon, whether it was soccer. And she might have a 35-point game in soccer. I don't know. I can't. I'm just kidding. It seems like it, though. She just dominates no matter what part of the field she's on or what sport it is. She might be one of the best athletes at the 3A level, not just in District 3, but the entire state, just in terms of output and what she's been able to do in soccer and basketball this season.
Yeah, for sure. And then 1A D1, that's the tournament we were at. Logan Liberty Charter was the 8th seed. They went 2 and out. And then Notice was the conference champion, the 6th seed. They got to the consolation final where they fell to Oakley. So Notice at least played on Saturday. They took home a 6th place finish. Players that made the all-tournament team, Victoria Ortega made the second team all-tournament team. And I kind of filled this out without you, Logan, since you ditched me halfway through.
I know. I'm sorry. I had to go help my wife have a baby. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Victoria Ortega of Notice made the second team, and Ainsley Johnson of Liberty Charter was an honorable mention selection for the 1A D1 all-tournament team there for girls basketball. So we put the finishing touches on a great hoop season. One champion from the Treasure Valley, at least at the smaller levels. Timberline also won the 5A title. What a fun game that was. So now we get ready for boys basketball, Logan, and things are heating up just as much in boys district action. And again, if you're watching the video of this on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel or Facebook page, I'm going to share my screen and you can look at the brackets as we put them up on the screen. If you're listening audio only, IdahoSports.com or wherever you download your podcasts, you can also follow along. The boys district brackets are right on our homepage, IdahoSports.com.
And if I'm not wrong, if you look back at girls, right, we had District 2 have a champion, District 3 had 2, District 4 had 1, District 5 had 1.
I don't think District 5 had 1.
Well, districts, so it was Rockland.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
So District 5 had 1 and District 6 had 1. So a lot of parity this year. District 3, the only district to bring home 2, and it was the bookends, right? Or we had a small school in a 2A Coal Valley and then a big 5A Timberline. But other than that, I love to see it. I love it when it's not one district dominating, when it is spread out around the state, like it was for girls. So great results around the state for girls tournament.
For sure. All right, let's quickly run through these boys basketball brackets, then duck out of here. So here is the 3A Snake River Valley Conference boys district bracket. Number 1 versus number 2, McCall Donnelly going to play Homedale in the district championship game. That will be Thursday night, 7:00. Winner gets to, they're both going to state. McCall Donnelly and Homedale are both clinched. Number 3, Fruitland will play number 6, Parma. How about Parma making a little late season run?
Yeah.
Those two.
Yeah, they've been kind of quiet all season. But then all of a sudden with that win against Weiser, a big win there for the Panthers, and now they're a win away from getting a play-in opportunity. Of course, they did lose pretty big to Fruitland a couple weeks or earlier on in this tournament last week, but we've seen crazier things happen around the state in boys basketball already, a la Bear Lake, just knocking out Westside and getting to state. You just never know.
Yeah, and we just saw it up north where the 2 seed Bonners Ferry beat the 1 seed Kellogg. So now whoever wins this Fruitland Parma game will have to play the winner of Kellogg Timberlake in that state play-in game. But congrats to McCall Donnelly, congrats to Homedale, both those teams moving on to state, looking really good.
And that Homedale team, I saw them play a couple of times this year at the Owyhee tournament. They're good. They're athletic. I think they might be one of the most athletic teams that you will see. A lot of those guys are football players. You've got Hayden Kinchlow, Trenton Fisher out there. You've got football player Jackson Dines leading the way. A lot of football players that are just athletic and have been there and know how to win. And that's a dangerous thing in a state tournament, I think, is they might not be the best skilled players in terms of basketball skill, but they're athletic and they're tough. And they're a team I would not want to be lined up in the first round against Homedale in the first round if I'm anybody.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup for sure. 2A, the Western Idaho Conference, chalk, right? 1 versus 2 for the championship. Number 1, Melba. Number 2, Ambrose. These games will take place at Owyhee High School. Championship game will be tomorrow night. And then you've also got the third place game. Number 3, Nampa Christian. Number 4, Cole Valley Christian. The winner of that game advances to the state play-in game where they will take on West Side, which now becomes a much more interesting matchup.
Yeah, all season we were harping saying, oh yeah, the Nampa Christian, Cole Valley Christian, whoever wins that game should go over and take care of business and get their ticket to state. And now it's like, whoa, it's a whole new ball game. That play-in game will truly be a state tournament game. I think sometimes you might see somebody sneak into that game that you just kind of know is going to go get beat, but that is going to be a dogfight. Whoever it is, whichever one of those two teams plays West Side, those 3 teams are teams that could pull an upset in the first round, no matter who they play. I think you're going to see if Cole Valley or Nampa Christian can get in and not play a Melba or Ambrose. I think they might sneak out with a win. Those 2 teams, they've been hanging. They just have been hanging there, Brandon. I feel like. Nampa Christian did get Ambrose once. I just feel like they're right there. And that if they can put the pieces together in one game, they're going to make some noise in the tournament. If they can get past West Side, whoever it is.
Yeah, and I'm actually more intrigued by that Nampa Christian Cole Valley game, I think, than the Melba Ambrose game. We've kind of already seen that play out. Both teams moving on to state no matter what. So I think that Nampa Christian Cole Valley game is going to be the one to watch for sure.
Oh yeah, way more on the line. You saw it. You saw Melba and Cole Valley Christian play in the girls' district championship, and Melba wins, but the result honestly makes no difference because Cole Valley goes and wins. So on this backside, there's a lot on the line right here. There's really nothing on the line in the first game because they've got their eyes on the next prize rather than what's right there.
Yeah, and that's a doubleheader at Owyhee High School Thursday night. Consolation final first at 6, championship to follow. 1A D1, our favorite league, Logan, the Western Idaho Conference. All of the play-in games went according to form. Greenleaf Friends, Centennial Baptist. First time ever Centennial Baptist is competing at districts, like the actual 8-team district bracket. So shout out to the Mustangs. They've had a really nice season. But then in the first round, for the most part, what we expected. Number 1 Rimrock over number 8 Greenleaf 58-15. Number 2 Victory Charter over number 7 Centennial Baptist 71-22. Number 3 Liberty Charter over number 6 North Star 61-25. And then the one upset, quote unquote, number 5 Notice over number 4 Riverstone 36-26. Now again, the third place team does not get to challenge back for that second bid to state. So really, Greenleaf's playing Riverstone tonight as we're recording this, Logan. Centennial Baptist is playing North Star. That's nice. But let's focus on that winner side of the bracket because that's where the real juice is. Rimrock Notice in one semifinal. This is Wednesday night as we're recording this.
Yeah.
Victory, and then to me, the big one is Victory Charter, Liberty Charter.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen a score for that one, Brandon? It's probably done by now. We're recording this at 8:30. You can see it there, 8:30 on Wednesday night. But that one, whoever wins that game punches their ticket to state, and that Rimrock Notice game probably going on right now. But you got to like Rimrock in that one. I think that they'll fight through, but we'll see what happens in that Victory Charter, Liberty Charter game and see who gets that ticket to state.
Yeah, and like we talked about, that league was wide open this year. That's for sure. I'll try to hunt those scores down, see if we can't get some live.
I'm fumbling around seeing if I can find it. I don't see anything yet though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about. Let's move to the 1A D2s in the long pin conference, where again, number 1 Council comes in as the favorite. They defeat number 4 Cascade. They're in the championship. Horseshoe Bend, I talked about, was a sneaky team. They beat Garden Valley late in the regular season. Still got the 3 seed. Nipped Garden Valley 61-57. So now Council and Horseshoe Bend playing Thursday night for the district championship. Winner gets to go to state. You've got Cascade, meanwhile, taking on Garden Valley. Wolverines season on the line in a loser-out game tomorrow night as well. And if Garden Valley wins that, then they have to play Council or Horseshoe Bend again and to get that second spot to state. So whoever gets that second bid is definitely going to earn it.
Yeah, I think Garden Valley they'll pull out the win against Cascade. And, it's interesting coming into the year, people were very high on Cascade. I think even some places had them. A lot of people picked them to finish first or be fighting for that first position, but Council really ran away with the conference this year. And I think the Lumberjacks will take it tomorrow night and win that game against Horseshoe Bend. And then you'll see that rematch. The Garden Valley Horseshoe Bend was at number 4, round 4 between those two. And the first one, a 4-point game last week, or the first district game, a 4-point game. So really, I think Garden Valley's come a long way this season. They had to replace a lot of people on that team, a lot of good production. I mean, Covey Kelly's doing really well at Walla Walla right now. So you didn't just lose good player, you lost good college athletes that are playing well in college. And they've done a good job clearly in the season so far. And we'll see if it maybe pays off with a trip to state, which I don't know if anybody saw that coming from Garden Valley. But like you said, Brandon, Horseshoe Bend has been just kind of sneaking around and puts in a big punch in that first round game after having to play a, quote, play-in game against Salmon River to get to Garden Valley, who had a bye. But I don't know. We'll see what happens that game on the 25th to see who gets that final ticket to state.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like, if I'm reading this correctly, Logan, it looks like Liberty Charter beat Victory Charter 53-46. It's always hard to tell when we get to the tournaments because it's, I don't know, it's not always clear which team's home and away on the
home and away, right?
But and then it looks like currently the other game is still going on, the second semifinal, Rimrock and Notice, but it looked like Rimrock was winning that game. So
got it.
Could be Rimrock Liberty Charter possibly.
Okay, so Liberty Charter looking to make it double boys and girls punching tickets to state this year.
Boy, how wild is that? The always unpredictable. Yeah, Rimrock has the game well in hand as we are recording this. So, all right, there you go. Rimrock.
You can beat that. Live updates. Live updates.
It's funny because most people are going to listen to this tomorrow morning.
And be like, duh. We all know that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so that's our whip around look at girls and boys basketball. You might be thinking, hey, what about wrestling? Okay, real quick, shout out to New Plymouth because they are probably something would really have to go wrong for New Plymouth not to win the 2A state wrestling championship. And they've got 2 wrestlers that will be angling for the exclusive 4-time state champion club as well. Joel Campbell and Kyle Rice, both of New Plymouth. If they win individual titles this weekend at Holt Arena in Pocatello, they will become the newest members of the 4-time state champ club, which is totally awesome. You might be thinking, how come you guys didn't talk about wrestling more? Well, we just recorded earlier tonight our live state wrestling preview, and I broke it all down with Brian Zollinger. We took live questions from the fans, so that will be appearing in your podcast feed as well, or you can view that on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, or Twitter account also. So that's where all your state wrestling action is going to be at. And then also Thursday morning, we'll have a huge state wrestling preview. Al Fontes, one of our contributing writers, is putting that together. He's going to do a state wrestling recap also. So all your wrestling coverage will be right on the homepage at IdahoSports.com. So, yeah.
Can't beat that. The coverage that Idaho Sports has is second to none. We were at every single state tournament basketball game for girls, every single game. And then the coverage for wrestling, and we'll be at every single boys game. It's just an exciting time. It's busy, but it's definitely exciting. And then I don't know, Brandon, are we doing a preview show for boys basketball next week as well. If you liked the girls one, be sure to check that out. It was a lot of fun. It was great fun to listen to all the broadcasters' point of views. Me and Brandon discussed the 1AD1 tournament for a little bit. So be sure to check that out next week in lieu of this recording.
Yep, for sure. All right, well, that'll do it for this edition of the Treasure Valley Prepcast on IdahoSports.com. My dogs are in a frenzy because my wife just got home from work. I'm sure everybody can hear that. That's a lot of fun. So I'm going to duck out. Thank you, Logan, as always, for joining us. For Logan Green, I'm Brandon Baney, and we'll see you next time on the Treasure Valley Prepcast, IdahoSports.com.